Introduce myself. I am Prashanth P and I am a qualified chartered accountant. So today we are going to start with a very interesting topic. I'll be taking taxes on cryptocurrencies. Basically taxes on virtual digital assets. So just give me a couple of seconds to settle down. It's also a very interesting topic. I personally like this topic so much. So it will be really interesting today. Just a second. Okay. So just a second. Okay. Basically, the taxes on cryptocurrencies, what comes to your mind when we talk about virtual digital assets? So, as per the Income Tax Act, virtual digital assets will be containing two kinds of things. One is the cryptocurrencies, and the other one is NFTs. So, I'll be writing over here cryptocurrency and NFTs. So, these are the two basic virtual digital assets we'll be discussing today. I mean, basically, the income tax, how we treat them, how we tax them. So, what exactly is a cryptocurrency? You might have heard of Bitcoins, Dogecoins, Ethereum, Litecoins, and all. So, basically, that is what a cryptocurrency is. It's a virtual digital asset, as you know, and it in some places it's used as a means of tender, like a barter exchange and all. Okay, so let's assume as Bitcoin. Bitcoin is one cryptocurrency. And what comes to your mind when you hear of the term called NFTs, non-fungible tokens? So, just like you and me, there are so many mad people in this world who loves to spend on so many items, right? Like, I'll show you an example. Suppose you get a bat from Sachin Tendulkar, signed by Sachin Tendulkar. So that bat will be sold for $1 million, maybe, right? Now, suppose I sign that bat will not even be sold. It will be sold for like 100 rupees or something, right? In the same way, you can see a lot of paintings like these. This painting, it sold for $186 million. What is there in this painting? I can see three colors: blue, green, and red. I can also make a painting like this with four colors, but I don't think it will be sold for 186 million. I don't know how it makes sense, but let's leave it. Okay, let's come back to the topic. So, how is it related to NFTs? So, NFT, just like how I said about the cricket bat and the painting, just like we saw now, there will be so many digital assets, right? So digitally they will be in the market and people will be buying and selling those assets. So one of the best NFT example which I can say is the Twitter founder. You might have heard of the social media called Twitter. The first tweet, the first tweet was made as an NFT and it was sold for some $1 million. I'll show you NFT of first tweet. I'll show you the images. Yeah. So this was the first tweet which someone did by Jack. This this is a virtual digital asset. So this NFT was sold for a very huge amount. Let's see the value, how much it was sold. Yeah, 2.9 million a year ago. So I don't know how it creates value. And there are, just like I said, if Sachin Tendulkar signs a bat, it will be sold for so much of value, right? Just like that, in the digital market there are so many assets like these, and there will be buying and selling of these assets. It doesn't matter to us, we are discussing about income tax. So let's discuss um, how the tax treatment will be, right? Just a second. So let's so when we talk about income tax, one of the best section which comes to our mind is section 115 BBH. So when we talk about tax treatment regarding bitcoins, NFTs or any virtual digital asset notified by the government, we discuss it with the help of section 115 BBH, right? So what does 115 BBH says? So 115 BBH says if you earn any income by buying or selling Bitcoin or any virtual digital asset, you have to pay tax at the rate of 30%. Right? I zoom this screen. Wait. Yeah. So suppose I bought a Bitcoin, okay, by BTC for let's say 1 lakh rupees. I bought a Bitcoin for 1 lakh rupees. Now, the very next day, I sold the same Bitcoin for let's say 5 lakh, right? Sorry, I think one zero is extra. Okay. I sold the same Bitcoin for 5 lakh rupees. So, how much is the profit that you earned? 5 lakh minus 1 lakh. You earned a profit of 4 lakh rupees, right? Let me just write it over here profit. Now, we'll be discussing this income tax treatment with the help of various examples so we can understand it in a very better manner. So, we earned a profit of 4 lakh rupees. So, on this 4 lakh rupees, we will apply section 115 BBH. What does it say? 30% of the profit earned, right? So on this 40 lakh, I mean 4 lakh profit, we will be calculating the tax. That is 30% of 4 lakh rupees into 30 percentage. You see? So 1 lakh 20,000 is the tax amount that you have to pay. This is the tax amount, right? Yeah. In the same manner, along with the tax, you will be liable to pay cess. Cess will be around 4 percentage, right? So how much is 4 percentage of 1 lakh 20,000? 4,800. Now, this will be the total amount you have to pay 4,800 plus 1 lakh 20,000. 1 lakh 24,800 rupees is the total income tax which you have to pay if you do such kinds of transaction. Okay, I hope this is very easy. Now, let's discuss this chapter in a very detailed manner. A very basic doubt which one can have is under which section, I mean, under which head we will charge this income, whether it will be other sources, whether it will be long-term capital gains, whether it will be house property, definitely not. So the main basic confusion is whether it is capital gain or other sources. So as per the department, we have to charge this income under other sources. This will be under the head other sources of income, right? That is one thing which we have to keep in mind. The next basic thing is another doubt which comes to our mind is whether the basic exemption limit shall be available on such transactions, right? So what is the current basic exemption limit? We'll be discussing as per the old regime. So as per the old regime, the basic exemption limit is 2,50,000. Okay. Okay. So 2,50,000 is the basic exemption limit. So if I earn a profit by selling Bitcoin, like around, let's say you earned profit of 2 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees. Will I be liable to pay tax? Obviously, I will have to pay tax at the rate of 30 percentage, right? 60,000 is the value. One doubt is whether basic exemption limit can be deducted from this 2 lakh rupees. That is, you will be having a basic exemption limit of 2 lakh 50. So ideally, your income should be negative 50,000, right? But the government says you cannot deduct basic exemption limit from any profit earned by way of virtual digital asset, right? I mean bitcoins basically. So even if you earn 1,000 rupees as profit, you will be liable to pay 300 rupees as tax. that is 30 percentage, along with the 4% of cess, right? So I think this is clear till here. Let me take another scenario. Let us just clear these things. Okay. Now, the very basic doubt which comes to our mind is whether we can set off losses, right? Suppose in house property income, you have a loss of 2 lakh rupees minus 2 lakh. This is the house property loss. Can you deduct house property loss from income earned from cryptocurrencies? That is the basic question which I am asking. Even here, the government says you cannot deduct such losses. That is, even if you earn 4 lakh rupees as profit, and if you are having house property loss of 2 lakh, your net income will be 4 lakh itself. You cannot deduct this 2 lakh rupees. Of course, you can. Um, no, you cannot. Okay. So you will have to pay the tax on 4 lakh itself. You cannot get the benefit of 2 lakh rupees. That is one clarification. Now, let's take another example. Let's say in Bitcoin, um, the next day. So there are so many cryptocurrencies, right? So just like Bitcoin, there is another coin known as Dogecoin. Doge coin. Now on the very next day, I bought Dogecoin for, let's say, 5 lakh rupees, and I sold the very same coin for, let's say, 4 lakh. So here I earned a loss of 1 lakh rupees. I don't know why these zeros are increasing. Yeah. Okay. Now let us discuss. You earned profit of 4 lakh rupees by selling Bitcoin, and you earned a loss of 1 lakh rupees by selling Dogecoin. Can you set off this loss while filing your ITR? The answer is no. You will have to pay tax on 4 lakh itself. You cannot show your income from cryptocurrencies as 4 lakh minus 1 lakh, which comes to around 3 lakh rupees. No. Tax will be paid on the profit which you have earned. You cannot set off this loss against the profit earned from other cryptocurrencies. Even if you earn loss in Bitcoin itself, you cannot set off, and you also cannot carry forward the loss. Okay. Tax will be calculated on 4 lakh itself. Let's take another scenario. You might have heard of section called rebate under section 87A. Now what is rebate under section 87A? Suppose your income, as per the old regime, suppose your income is up to 5 lakh rupees, you can get a rebate around 12,500 rupees. Okay. That is, if you have to pay taxes, you cannot, I mean, you can get a deduction of 12,500 rupees. All these are basic items which is coming in this topic. So my doubt is whether, um, see this case, the profit, let's forget this case. Okay. Here we earned a profit of 4 lakh rupees by selling Bitcoin. Now what I can say is this profit, I mean, this is the total income. Let's assume this is the total income. So this total income is up to 5 lakh rupees, right? So people will be saying I can get a rebate up to 12,500 rupees, right? If the total income is up to 5 lakh rupees, right? So tax as per cryptocurrency is coming around 1 lakh 20,000. Can I deduct 12,500 from this 1 lakh 20,000? The answer is no. Even here, the government says you cannot get any benefit from any of the sections, right? The tax is 30 percentage and you have to pay the tax no matter whatever things you're having. Okay. So what did we understand from this much minutes? We cannot get basic exemption limit of 2,50,000. You cannot get the rebate. You cannot get the set off of loss benefit. You also cannot carry forward the loss. There will be no benefit when you sell cryptocurrencies. I mean, when you make profit from cryptocurrencies, you have to pay tax at the rate of 30%, right? So I hope this part is clear. Now let's come to the TDS section. So TDS, let's skip to over here. Yeah. Now what is TDS? TDS means tax deducted at source. So basically, um, when you sell a cryptocurrency, you will be earning profit, right? So my doubt is whether TDS will be deducted on the profit or on the sale value. Let's take a very interesting example. You sold BTC for 5 lakh rupees, and this BTC you bought it a few days back for 4 lakh rupees. How much profit did you earn? You earned a profit of 1 lakh rupees, right? Let's say this is Mr. A. Mr. A. Mr. A sold BTC to Mr. B for 5 lakh rupees, right? But Mr. A earned a profit of 1 lakh rupees. How will the TDS implications be? So this is the, I will say this is the buyer and this is the seller. Okay. Now, when Mr. A sells Bitcoin to Mr. B, no, wait, this is the seller and this is the buyer. Just a small mistake. Okay, so Mr. A is selling Bitcoin to Mr. B for 5 lakh rupees. Who will be liable to deduct TDS? So Mr. A is earning the profit. So ultimately, Mr. B will be liable to deduct TDS. So on what value will TDS be deducted? That is another doubt. So TDS will be deducted on 5 lakh rupees, not on 1 lakh rupees. Because Mr. B will not be having any idea of how much profit uh, Mr. A has earned, right? And TDS will be deducted at the rate of 1%. Just 1% of 5 lakh rupees. So Mr. B will deduct 1% of 5 lakh rupees. 5,000 rupees Mr. B will deduct from Mr. A while paying this 5 lakh rupees, and he will deposit it to the government. Now this will be deducted under section 194S. I hope this is clear. Now let's go into this topic a little bit more in detail. Suppose Mr. A is selling Bitcoin, okay, and that too for let's say he sold it for 5,000 rupees. Will Mr. B still be liable to deduct TDS? The answer is no, because as per the income tax provisions, TDS is not applicable up to a value of, how much is it? 10,000 rupees, right? So in normal cases, 10,000 rupees is the limit. If you're selling a cryptocurrency for a value which is lesser than 10,000 rupees, TDS is not to be deducted. Okay. But and at the same time, if Mr. B is a person, if Mr. B is a person having no PGBP income, okay, or just a second, my bottle is falling down. Okay, fine. Okay, suppose Mr. B is having no PGBP income, okay, then this limit of 10,000 will be 50,000 rupees. I hope this is clear. Okay. So if Mr. A sells to Mr. B Bitcoin for a value of, let's say, up to 50,000 rupees, let's say 40,000 rupees, Mr. B will not be liable to deduct TDS because Mr. B is not having any PGBP income. Suppose Mr. B is having PGBP income and the value is up to, I mean, the previous year turnover. If Mr. B has PGBP income and in the previous year, the turnover, right? The turnover is up to, let's say, 1 crore rupees. Okay. If the turnover is up to 1 crore rupees for business, and at the same time, in the previous year, if Mr. B is having a profession, let's say he is in the profession of chartered accountancy, at the same time, if the gross receipts is up to 50 lakh, in these three cases, the limit will be 50,000 rupees. Okay. If these three cases are not falling, then the limit will be 10,000 rupees. Suppose Mr. B is having a business income and he is having a turnover of, let's say, 20 crore rupees. Then the limit will be 10,000 rupees. I hope this is clear. And TDS will be deducted under section 194S at the rate of 1%. Okay, fine. Now let's go more detail into the topic. This is going to be interesting. And TDS will be deducted on the consideration, okay, on the sale value, not on the profit value. Okay. Now let's say there are so many exchanges in this world, right? Let's say Coin DCX is one exchange. Coin DCX. So what am I doing is I bought Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin for 5 lakh rupees. Okay. At the same time, after a few days, I sold the same Bitcoin for, let's say, 12 lakh. 10. Sometimes this is zeros now. Okay. So what is the profit that I earned? Minus 5 lakh. 7 lakh is the profit that I earned. But Coin DCX charged a small portion of commission. Let's say Coin DCX charged commission of, let's say, 10,000 rupees. No need, 70,000 rupees. 10% is the commission rate. Now how much is my profit? So 7 lakh minus 70,000. I earned a profit of around 6 lakh 30,000 rupees. Now my question is, we have to compute tax. How will we compute? On what value we have to compute tax? Is it on 7 lakh rupees or on 6 lakh 30,000? This is the actual profit. This is the profit before commission. So as per the income tax provisions, we have to calculate tax on 7 lakh rupees, not on 6 lakh 30,000. Why? Because you don't get benefit of claiming other charges from your profit earned. You can only deduct expenses like acquisition cost. That is, only the buying price can be reduced from the selling price. No other charges can be reduced. So the tax will be on 7 lakh rupees into 0.3. 2 lakh 10,000 rupees is the total tax I have to pay to the government. Okay. So tax is computed on 7 lakh rupees, not on 6 lakh 30,000. That is one clarification. Now, coming up next, let's say uh, you sold to a lakh by to another person in coin DCX. Let's say this is Mr. A, that is the seller, and you are selling it to Mr. B, that is buyer. Now, what did we learn as per TDS? The buyer will be liable to will be liable to deduct TDS at the rate of 1% on the selling value to a lakh. Suppose if an exchange is involved, practically what happens is the exchange will deduct TDS, right? So this is what practically happens. So coin DCX, while selling this Bitcoin of for the rate of 12 lakh rupees, coin DCX will reduce TDS at the rate of 1% into 1%. Coin DCX will reduce 12,000 rupees from 12 lakh rupees, and Mr. A will be getting a total consideration value of 1188,000, 11 lakh 88,000 rupees. So Mr. B will not be liable to deduct TDS. Coin DCX will deduct TDS. I hope this is also clear. These are very easy topics. Okay. I don't know whether these things will come for exams or any other purpose. I think these things are very important from a practical point of view, right? If you're having any doubt, you can go to the website. There is crypto tax calculator. Let's see in this. Let's say I sold Bitcoin for 1,50,000, but I bought it for 50,000. Profit is 1 lakh. 30% of 1 lakh is coming around 30,000 rupees, guys. So whatever I said here is correct. Just for your clarification. Yeah, and along with this, you have to pay 4% cess. 30,000 plus 4% cess. How much is it coming? 30,000 plus 4%. 31,200. So that is the amount of tax which you have to pay to the government. So let's go deeper into the topic. Okay, fine. So let's come back to the same example, right? So in coin D6, Mr. A sold Bitcoin for 12 lakh rupees, right? So Mr. A got 11 lakh 88,000 rupees after deducting TDS of 12,000 rupees. So how will we compute tax of Mr. A? So what is the actual tax amount that Mr. A has to pay? Mr. A has to pay tax on 12 lakh minus 5 lakh rupees. On 7 lakh, Mr. A has to pay tax. What is 30% of 7 lakh? Where is the into? Into 0.3. Mr. A has to pay total tax of 2 lakh 10,000 rupees. Right? But, if you see in the 26 AS of Mr. A, there will be TDS deducted and it will be showing us 12,000 rupees. I'll show you a format of 26 AS in practical life how it comes. This is no, this one. Yeah. So this is one guy's 26 AS. You see, he sold some cryptocurrencies in coin DCX, right? And this is the amount which he sold. It's very minute amount. Okay. You see, for 278 rupees he sold, his TDS got deducted at 2.79. Yeah. Under section 194S. What is 194S? Let's come down. Um, yeah. Payment of consideration for transfer of virtual digital asset by person. Right? Okay. Now let's come back to this example. So Mr. A has to pay tax of 2 lakh 10,000 rupees. But he can get, sorry, on this 2 lakh 10,000 rupees, he will be requiring to add 4% of cess. How much is 4% of cess? 8,400. So how much is the total tax coming? 2,10,000 plus 8,400. So this is the total tax amount he has to pay. This is cess, this is tax, right? Now on this total tax amount, TDS is already deducted under section 194S. That is on 1 lakh 12 lakh rupees at the rate of 1%. So this 12,000 he can deduct from this total tax minus 12,000, right? So what is the total net liable to pay? So at the end of the day, he will be having to pay 2,06,400 rupees as tax, right? Let's say it is total payable. I hope this is clear. Now, I hope everything till now is very easy. Let's take a very hypothetical situation. Not hypothetical, it happens in real world, but we have to study. Let's say this is Mr. A, this is Mr. B. Now, Mr. A is having Bitcoin at the rate of 5 lakh rupees, let's say 5 lakh rupees value Bitcoin. And Mr. B is having, let's say, Dogecoin, Dogecoin, and Dogecoin Mr. B is having the same at the same value, 5 lakh rupees, right? So, I mean, if Dogecoin Mr. B is having at the value of 5 lakh rupees, that means, let's say, Mr. B will be having around 5 lakh divided by, let's say, 20 rupees. Dogecoin, 25,000 Dogecoins, 25,000, and BTC will be around like, these are number of units, okay, not units, number of Dogecoins, because Dogecoin the value is very less in practical world, and BTC the value of one Bitcoin is very high. Let's say 2 Bitcoins. This is the number. Let's say Mr. A is having 2 Bitcoins and Mr. B is having 25,000 Dogecoins. The value of 2 Bitcoins is 5 lakh rupees. Value of 25,000 Dogecoins is 5 lakh rupees. Same. Let's say Mr. A and Mr. B is ready for an exchange. What happens is Mr. A is ready to give 2 Bitcoins to Mr. B, and Mr. B in exchange will give 25,000 Dogecoins to Mr. A. Right? Now, how will the TDS implications work over here? Because both are buyer and seller, right? Mr. A is seller of Bitcoin, Mr. B is seller of Dogecoin, Mr. A is buyer of Dogecoin, Mr. B is buyer of Bitcoin. I hope this is clear. So, how will the TDS implications work? So, who is liable to deduct TDS? Seller, right? So, what is A is not seller, buyer. Okay. So, when A sells Bitcoin of 5 lakh rupees to B, Mr. B is liable to deduct TDS on 5 lakh rupees at the rate of 1%. Right? Now, at the same time, when Mr. B is selling Dogecoins to Mr. A, right? Mr. A will be liable to deduct TDS on 5 lakh rupees Dogecoins. Right? So if both is liable to deduct TDS, what happens? Let's so practically what happens is Mr. A. Mr. A will deposit 5,000 rupees to government, and Mr. A will produce the challan to Mr. B. In the same manner, Mr. B will deduct TDS of 5,000 rupees and deposit it to the government, and he will produce the challan to Mr. A. If both the parties have paid the TDS, this transaction can happen. That is how it works in practical life. That is how income tax works. Okay. Now, Let's go a little bit more detail in the TDS concept. Suppose TDS is deducted by a person who is not having PGBP income, not having turnover up to 1 crore rupees as in business. Sorry, having turnover up to 1 crore rupees business, and person having um, gross receipt of 50 lakh rupees for profession, right? In this case, um, this is for individual or HUF. So, if individual or HUF is having no PGBP income, let's say for example, the limit is 50,000 rupees, right? Now, when should they deposit the TDS amount? So, if the case is 50,000 case, TDS will be deposited in um, within 30 days from the end of month. Okay, and at the same time, if it is 10,000 rupees case, TDS will be deposited on the seventh day of the next month. These are not important, but for MCQs it can come. So here it is 30 days from the end of the month. Here it is 7 days from the end of the month of sale. Okay, so that's how it works. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hoping to upload more videos in future. Okay, let's have a rocking day. Goodbye. I have to stop the recording.